It was a great grand final, like we said, full of highlights, drama, ultimately a dream fulfilled. Let's revisit the season's biggest occasion in Hot or Not.
Footyology's Hot or Not is proudly brought to you by Trade Institute of Victoria. Start your future today at tiv.vic.edu.au.
Okay, you open the bowling.
Oh, it's pretty simple. Luke Beveridge. Luke Beveridge on every score. Luke Beveridge the coach. Luke Beveridge the person. Luke Beveridge the gesture. He doesn't seem funny. I heard him last night say that he was nervous speaking in front of 100,000 people. He's not anything other than the bloke that came to the club. Got a great football brain as well, Luke Beveridge. I mean, that moment with his players, with Murph, was lovely. And got a great football brain. When he was at St Kilda, I had this feeling, this is interesting, I'd never seen a player as clever a footballer as he, because he used to be able to get free kicks. They're not fake for them. He used to get his opponent, I felt, to infringe on him. He had a great way of doing it. And only last night was the first time I checked his stats for free kicks. His first year at St Kilda was 96. Do you know what the frees for and against were?
No.
26-4, 3 against.
Well, he's coached his players well because the
clever.
Bulldogs had far and away the best free kick differential this season.
I think if any player that's played the game, that year would be the greatest differential, 866% to the good, and his overall percentage more than 200, more than double. He had 134-4, 64 against in his career. He knows not how to fake for free kicks, how to get, and he's taught his players how to win free kicks.
Full of obscure stats today, it's good. Okay, I'm starting with a hot, and this is a tale of, I guess, of redemption or justification, but Tom Boyd, what a grand final it was from him. Now, you know, few players in the league have been put under the pump as much as this bloke because of his big contract. I think he's had a wonderful final series, just his competitiveness in the ruck, he and Jordan Roughhead. But he added another string to the bow in this game. He started clunking the big contested marks, and I thought he played well enough on the game. I gave him my third best on ground, but when I went home and watched the game again, it seemed to get even better. He was just taking marks everywhere. He had the presence, and of course the goal that sealed it, which was great presence of mind too. It's not often you see a big guy swoop on a ball in the centre square, spot the opening and go bang, I'm going to deliver as that flag. So it was a magnificent performance from him. A bit similar to Tom Hawkins in 2011, the coming of age for him, and I reckon he's every chance to go on with it now. Fantastic performance.
Let's be honest, the Doggies have lucked out here. They paid $1 million a year over 7 years for a full forward, and circumstance had placed him in the ruck. He's grown in confidence. He now can be a commanding forward ruckman midfielder type. It's not what they bought him for, but it's won them a flag.
You're up.
I'm going to go just simply the Bulldog supporters. They are those scenes at Whitten Oval on Sunday were. I had it on my TV and I was using the freeze to look at some of the faces and sort of try and think of the people I go to football with, long-suffering St Kilda fans. They, in number, have put up with potential merge, threats of obliteration, and just really being the competition's ugly duckling. Well, the ugly duckling didn't become a swan, it beat a swan, and their fans deserve every minute of it. I love them.
Absolutely. Great fan base, and they've, like you say, going right back to the merger. They've never been anything but loyal, and I think we might see a significant upswing in their number over the next few years. Okay, I'm going with another. I'm not doing a not today. I'm going with another hot, and no, Swans fans, we're not completely forgetting about your team, because I thought Josh Kennedy delivered one of the great performances in a losing grand final side. So good, he could almost have won the Norm Smith medal. Now, we've only had 4 Norm Smith medalists from losing sides: Maurice Rioli, Gary Ablett, Nathan Buckley and Chris Judd. But he could easily have become the 5th. 22 possessions and 2 goals to half-time. Curbed a little bit in the second half, but ended up with 3 goals and, 30 high 30 touches. And he carried that midfield. He's done it all year. He's had a fantastic final series. When they were belted 2 years ago, he held his head up. He's an absolute monster of a midfielder and great player. And you know, look, I think plenty of Swans can hold their heads high. They were hardly beaten up, but he was the pick of them. Just a wonderful game.
And got due recognition on Monday night, last night, with the Gary Ayres medal, the inaugural winner of the best player in the final series.
It was Josh Kennedy, wasn't it? Oh, I missed that. Okay, next.
It's a knot. I have to do a knot. It's AFL footballers, and there's a few knots to come out of the grand final sprint. If you have a look at it, it just didn't go the way as planned. You'd think you line up some footballers from AFL clubs, surely or shortly, they're not going to get beaten by a bloke from Murrumbina, but this bloke called Shirley beat them, all of them. And Doggy's had a good day, but Brad Lynch ran last in the sprint, and except for one bloke, the taxi driver. Now, if they put the taxi driver in the sprint to discourage people from doing a runner, it didn't serve its purpose because he ran last.
Yeah, I was going to do that gag, but about 1,000 people have done it already since the weekend. All right, last one, I'll be quick. Second quarter of this grand final. Now, we talked about where it stands in the Pantheon. The second quarter, 11 goals scored, cracking football. And I remember at half-time thinking, gee, I wonder how long since that many goals have been kicked in a quarter of a grand final. Well, 1997, Finey, sorry to bring it up, but the last quarter of 97, Adelaide and St Kilda, there was 12 kicked. Hasn't been as many kicked in almost 20 years since. It was just, Tom Boyd there early on. Great goal from Nick Smith here. Kennedy kicked a couple. The Swans had that burst, but the Dogs got goals early and then late to even things up.
Yeah, those late goals by the Doggies were key, weren't they?
And this was a key one too. Great handball from Lockie Hunter and the snap from Pickett. If you could isolate 30 minutes of a grand final, that 30 minutes would hold up very, very well alongside anything we've seen, I think, in our lifetimes.
I wasn't at the game. It felt like the crowd was at fever pitch. They were exploding in that quarter.
It's one of the loudest grand finals ever. That was my 46th. And we had the window open, the press box, don't worry. It was significantly loud. It was
in that
great.
For a second quarter, I thought, I understand loud, and we played one Essendon recently, but for a second quarter, it seemed insane.
Yeah, no, well, that's the sort of game it was. We were treated to a classic.
With all the programs they've had in place and the youth girls coming through, like I went and watched the Youth Girls Carnival a couple of months ago and I was blown away. Like they were, the skill level and the way they moved the ball was phenomenal. So the skill is definitely there.